It was so funny. Monday morning, Ken Brady was off. Yeah. And so I walked by and he's in the conference room and I was like, just making sure you know, like,
you're off?
Off, like, you don't have a sales meeting this morning. And he was like, oh yeah, I don't have my keys and Michelle's not here yet. And I was like, oh, never mind. Sorry.
Ken or Brent?
Brent.
Yeah.
Ken's off all week. Did I say Ken?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, Brent. That's why I always, whenever he leaves, I always ask him. I nag him. Do you have your keys? Do you have your phone? Do you have your bag?
He always forgets all that stuff?
Always. So I sit there and I'm his little nag.
I didn't realize you didn't have a chair.
Oh, that's okay.
When you were walking by earlier, I thought you were coming to give me a hug. So
we're back. Sorry, guys.
Turned and then put my arms up and I was like, oh, she's not.
I'm just getting a chair. Okay, sorry.
So how was summer? I was so sad when the day you came in was the only day I couldn't spend like an hour.
She's good.
Loving on her.
She's
although
good.
I'm sure Michelle didn't want me to rip her from her arms.
Yeah, she right now the past 2 days she doesn't have her days and nights.
Oh no.
So I got to get her back
on a schedule. That's hard.
Because she sleeps great. She'll eat and then she'll sleep for 3 to 4 hours.
Oh, that's awesome.
But she's doing it during the day and not
at night.
You know, well, she'll do it. She'll do it from like say now till like 3 in the morning.
Oh.
And she's great.
But then she's
3
awake.
in the morning, she's like, "Don't you dare lay me down." I'm like, so I'm like a zombie walking around the house.
Oh.
Like that's it. The day you don't have golf or work, I'm waking you up in the middle. You're doing this again. I was all set to have him do it tonight. But he got asked to play in the tournament tomorrow. So I was like, fine.
I won't wake you up.
And continue golfing.
Yeah, that's hard if they're on a schedule. If he's on a schedule.
Well, yeah. Well, I feel bad. I don't want to do that to him.
I feel like you've lost everything.
No, but I have lost a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
Especially even since you came in.
You had a baby in you just a few weeks ago.
I know.
Nuts.
I'm not like, what up?
Do you get like phantom kicks and stuff?
No.
No?
No.
Like
no.
It might still be there or something?
No, but with the C-section, where they only go so far, but I feel like stretch and pain where they didn't go. And the nurse said, she goes, that's funny, a lot of moms say that. And it's always to the right, and we think it's because the doctor is on the right, and so that's where, so maybe some of the tendons or muscles got pulled. I'm like, yeah, that's
back, right?
That's where I heard.
Okay.
You're not.
Built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
On 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Plenty to get to here on a Tuesday night. Lauren Rue, Lauren Brooks, wife from leave, and Donna Murphy, if you missed in the first segment, has joined us. She's back off the IR and happy to have her back on Helmets and Heels. All right, ladies, we talked about Blake Bortles. We talked about this game. We're going to stay with that for a moment. The offense has lots of problems, unfortunately. So, if you had to prioritize the offensive line, the running backs, Blake, the play calling, you can throw it all together. Is it more of a concern that Bad Blake, who you guys said we have not seen like that since 2016, and I'll defer to you for that date. You haven't seen that kind of a performance out of him.
Yeah, he almost lost the Chargers game last year because he threw 2 interceptions in the last 2 minutes of the game, but somehow, some way, the Jaguars still were able to win in overtime. But yeah.
All right, so we have the fact that Bad Blake is still around, or that he's not the only problem with the offense. Because there are offenses throughout the NFL that are not perfect. They'll go, the run game, they just can't get anything going. So give Dallas, for example. Ezekiel Elliott's the bright spot. The offensive line, also pretty good for them. Dak Prescott and the passing game is there's a lot to be desired there. But they can say, but at least we have this. Right now, the Jaguars, before the signing today, and we'll wait to hold. We'll make our decisions about how good these additions have been after we see them in action. But the problem is Blake's not the only problem. It's the other parts of the puzzle. So, what's the bigger concern? That kind of Blake is still around and may rear his head again, or that he's not the only problem on the offense?
I think it's a much larger issue that you've got all of these injuries and they're all happening kind of at the same time. Your starting left tackle goes down. You already lost your wide receiver, your best, maybe not the best with now the upset of D.D. Westbrook, but one of the best wide receivers on the team in Marquise Lee in the preseason. Now you've got your tight end, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, on IR at least for 8 weeks. You've also got running back Leonard Fournette out for who knows how long. He said that he heard a pop. They put him back in and he wasn't able to go. I don't know. Yes, we hope we're going to see him at some point this season. I don't know that we're going to see him healthy enough to make a difference at some point this season. So for me, this injury thing is really terrifying that it's going to derail the entire season. When Cam Robinson went down against the Patriots, I thought that's the one guy outside of Blake Bortles you really can't afford to lose. I thought if Fournette went out, you've got Yeldon and Grant. Now, of course, Grant also gone for the season. But a lot of teams are going to lose guys. But I think the attrition is the scariest part, even more so than at times and certain games Blake having a bad performance.
Left tackle isn't that much of a concern for me, and now running back. I mean, Fournette hasn't been healthy, I think, in a few years. He was never healthy in college. He's not going to be healthy in the pros. I don't think he's played a full season in his pro career to date, which has only been a few years. But those are, I guess, a lesser of concern, especially after the signings of today. My concern is that essentially the play calling and putting your guys in position to succeed. I mean, we saw with the 3rd and 2 that you're throwing the ball over to Moncrief or you're throwing it to Seferian-Jenkins, and you're both throwing them into positions that they're not comfortable and that's not their strong suit. And you're not putting your team into a position to win. You know Blake better than, or Hackett knows Blake better than anybody else on that team. And when you see him sort of struggling early on in that game, I think that 3rd and 2 decision changed the entire game for me. And when you don't come away from a long drive like that with some points on the board, and at that point it was 10-0. We could have came away and it was 10-3, and then you have something that's a little bit more encouraging to lead off with the rest of the game. But mentality-wise, they didn't come in with a fire. They didn't come out, guns blazing. They didn't. There was no, I guess, sense of urgency, and we've really only seen a sense of urgency in the Patriots game. Every other game, even the Titans game, they came out lackluster. And it's like, you have to win these division games, and you have to win against teams that are sort of the upper echelon of the conference, and they're proving that they're not doing that, and they're playing not just bad but embarrassing.
To go off of that, from last week, I was all for Marone going for the fourth down. I loved it. I loved every piece of it. It is something Belichick would do, and no one complains. They used to in the beginning of the era, but now they expect that. And so for Marone to have the guts to do that last week, I loved it. I did not like it this week because you needed some points on the board. Just something. And Lambeau, it's sad. This was a few years ago, but it's sad when your special teams or your kicker are your bright spots of the day.
No, he returned an onside kick.
Yeah,
that's right. Well, and my concern before Sunday's game was, all right, the defense is going to be tested, but this is where they're really going to shine because Patrick Mahomes may not be a rookie technically, but he's going to make some mistakes, and Blake has shown some improvement, and they're going to put a few things together, and this defense they're going up against is so bad. And, look, Logan Cook has got to be on his game because if he punts it and he kicks it and gives Tyreek Hill an opportunity, that's where he's the only one outside of Lambeau who did his freaking job on Sunday, to the extent of what was expected of him. So I'm with you on that. All right, we've harped on the offense. Let's switch to the defense for a moment here. It's kind of been back and forth. Some people say the defense did enough, gave Jacksonville, the offense, a fighter, what is it called, a puncher's chance? I never understood that. But either way, gave them an opportunity, forced a turnover. Of course, Blake turns it right back over. And then the other part is like, well, I mean, the defense, yeah, okay, they were okay, and they could have been better. Do you guys think there's room for improvement for what the defense did?
Yeah,
on
they
Sunday?
did a lot of talking in the offseason, and this was a defense that came into this season. And I know that they did a lot in stopping, the one of the NFL's top offenses, if not the top offense. But they didn't. Kansas City didn't punt for the first time until the second half of the game. And so, with that said, you're not necessarily doing your job
if you're people out. And
right.
You're not,
there was a lot of room to run after yards after the catch, and especially on third down. And I know Mahomes didn't throw for a touchdown, but he ran one in, and he was able to fit some throws in some tight windows, and I thought the coverage was left a lot to be desired. I thought Telvin Smith, love him, but I thought I've read online from guys who review film, and they said that was his worst pro game of his career. And I just think that with the comments after the game by Yannick and by Gibson, by saying that they lacked energy and that they lacked this sort of, I guess, enthusiasm for this game. I'm like, why would you be lacking enthusiasm for this game out of all games?
I agree. Telvin was the one that sticks out who had a bad game, and that's a shame because for me, he's my favorite. Mm-hmm. He's my favorite player on the team because he has so much passion. And he plays with so much on every single play. But he got beat. He was in the bad places, bad time.
And he picked a fight with Sammy Watkins after the game this over. It's just little stuff like this stuff don't matter.
It got to him, and usually things won't get under his skin. And I think his own bad play got to him. But I gotta say, the most enjoyable thing though was I love Lageman posting certain plays on
I know. I think I know
Twitter,
where you're going with this.
And the Darius run, big man can run, and it was so impressive. So just seeing that really made my day.
Yeah, that was one of the few bright spots.
Darius actually catching up with Tyreek. We were watching it live. We were like, I cannot believe he hustled. Because you watch that replay, and a lot of big guys will stop when they think he's about to be tackled. The guy with the ball, and he didn't stop, and I thought that was great, but at the same time, it was like one small thing, and overall, the defense obviously let the team down. Neither side of the ball played well, but you've got a defense that lets them just literally run down the field and have drives at like 15 and 16 plays. At some point, one of them has to step up and say, we're not going to let this happen. You can't be down 20-0 at the half and blame it all on the offense. I'm sorry, you can't. And that was about the point where I think everyone knew, no matter how great the defense plays in the second half, and I think they played obviously a lot better. They only allowed 10 points in the second half, but the game is over. Right. Everyone knew at that point.
Well, and I think the pick six was in the first half.
I think there was two.
Blake threw
Wasn't there two?
Six, and so I think they only got 13 points in the first. But you're right. I mean, the big plays and the drives, the momentum that Patrick Mahomes, it didn't look like anybody was going to slow him down.
I was at a 97-year-old birthday party, so I was kind of in and out of the living room at times.
You were preoccupied.
Doing some other stuff.
No,
so
but I got you.
It's kind of a
blur. Yeah. All right, I came from tornadoes to hurricane land, and every time that I'm going to call this one Hurricane Mike, kind of like Prison Mike from Office, what's it called? Yeah, The Office. Nobody gets that reference.
I get it.
Thank you
That's
very
funny.
much. So Hurricane Michael, I think it needs to have a tougher name, Hurricane Mike. Every time there's some sort of severe weather that comes over here, my phone blows up from people from back home who are like, are you okay? Is this going to hit you? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess it's okay. So I'm going to need like an accountability buddy, somebody in this room who just shoots me a text who goes, okay, so here's maybe what you're seeing. Don't panic. Or I'm just going to wait to hear from one of you who goes, go ahead and pack your stuff up and find somewhere
you'll
else.
find. If it's a category 4 or 5, you should be worried. Anything less than that's a party.
Did you get the tornado warning on your phone today?
No. But I was here. I've been here all day.
Well, you and I are in the same area.
Yeah, so no, but I've been here all day.
So maybe because
my cousin was in Nagano.
Which I'm like, hello, I just left Tornado Alley. What the hell? How is this following me over
I know.
there?
Well, I'm sitting there at home, and TJ's at work. I got the baby, and I get tornado warning, seek shelter. I'm like, what? And then I turn on the news, and they go, yeah, it's headed towards Bartram Springs Elementary. I'm like, that's where JT is. What? I was freaking out, but yeah.
Did anything actually happen?
I don't think.
No, it died down after
my cousin texted me, and she's like, first lizards, now tornadoes. possibly a hurricane. I just moved from Pennsylvania. Like, where is this place that you live? I thought Florida was great. No, she was obviously fine. But yeah, if you had been at home today, you would have gotten a message warning you. But I think overall,
somebody, I just need one of you to say, I will shoot you a text and tell you it's probably time to leave. That's
I
all
will. I
You're
will happily
fine.
do that for you. I
Okay,
have a
thank you.
boyfriend who monitors storms.
Thank you.
More closely, I swear, the meteorologist, because it affects surfers.
There
He
you
knows
go.
at all times what the swell is going to be like. So therefore, he at all times can, and he works outside. So at all times, he can tell me exactly what's going to happen. So I will.
If it ain't showing up on the generic
It's not gonna do
iPhone
that.
weather
Plus, it's
app,
on the
they ain't have
panhandle.
that.
It's
Okay,
it's
then
fine.
fine.
But it is
It's
supposed
all
to kind of curve and come over us. But so what happens normally, Lauren, is so it goes from a tropical storm and then it gains to enough.
When does it
strength
get a
that
name? When it's serious?
When it's a
It's
tropical
storm.
Depre-
or depression, maybe.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
depressions get a name,
that
but you don't
doesn't-
have to worry until
the
it's a
name
category
doesn't
4.
have anything to do with severity of
No.
the storm?
No,
No,
but
no,
then
no.
once it becomes a hurricane, that's when you have to monitor. But once it hits landfall, that's where it usually will slow down the wind speed. The progression of it can change a lot of times too, because when they can't predict as well once it hits landfall what it's going to do, they can predict better on the ocean. But it will lose its strength usually when it hits landfall. So if it's hitting the Gulf Coast
Again,
at a hurricane
all great.
category 3, it will slow down. I
Okay,
said
let's shoot me a text and just say time to go.
I said
Rue,
usually though
time
because
to
last
go.
year we saw Hurricane Harvey not move. Like most hurricanes have a trajectory and then they go and they can cross lots of states even. But Hurricane Harvey last year over Houston literally just spun. And they got so much flooding because it just was a torrential
And that's the
downpour.
problem mostly with hurricanes. It's not really the wind, it's the flooding and the rain that comes with it, which we will get rain a lot like what you saw today. That's what the weekend will be pretty much.
Well,
But just be a true Floridian, go get a bottle of liquor and go to the beach
I'll
and
always
then
have Cheetos or Tito's.
and feel the wind though. As an out-of-towner, I feel like it's amazing to go to the beach. Don't go in the water, but just go like feel the wind. And it's
the
just
wind
a
in
cool
Oklahoma
feeling.
knocks your ass over like all the time, so I'm good with the wind. But I appreciate that someone here will have my back. All right, when we come back, more Jaguars. Is this offense behind the times already? Plus licorice. Ugh. What's coming up next?
From the locker room to the 50-yard line. No
Ready, thank you. That was a perfect segue for All Pro. Well, you just heard Lauren Rue and the rest of us talk about Hurricane Michael, and we are expected to get some rain over the next few days, so now is the time to contact my friends at All Pro Roofing and Consulting if your roof is in need of repair or if you need a brand new roof. Lauren Brooks here, and when it comes to hiring a roofer, you want one who won't require any upfront deposits and one who is not going to sub out their crews. You won't find a more solid company than All Pro Roofing and Consulting, who have over 25 years of experience. All Pro Roofing and Consulting is a family-owned company and a part of the Lloyd's family of businesses. Find them online at allproroofingllc.com. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So have you gone back to the doctor with her? I'm sure you have by now, right?
Yeah, she had
How
her
much
2 week.
Okay, how much does she weigh?
7.5.
Nice.
So she eats very well.
Yeah.
So she's been doing good.
What kind of formula do you give her?
Enfamil.
Enfamil.
Yeah. Whatever, we tried to go with whatever they gave us at
the hospital
because
Okay.
she didn't have any bad reactions to it.
Is that what JT had, or did he have a different brand?
No, we had to use Similac with him. He was very sensitive.
That's the one that I've heard of before. I mean, not that I know that much about formula, but
he was super sensitive. Of course he was. So, that's been great. Our neighbors that are that have JT's best friend, you know, so they've been taking JT like. JT can come and play, you know, because I'm like, dude, you know, I can't get up and do this for you. Sorry, you know. But
he's good with her, you said?
Yeah.
How close to 100% normal do you
we took a nice long walk around the neighborhood 2 days ago.
Okay.
And halfway through it, I felt like I could walk at my normal pace. But it took halfway around to get to that.
Okay. But still.
So, like, laying down, it still takes me a minute to get up because I can't use my abs.
Your stomach at all, yeah.
So I'm like a weeble wobble, like, come on, get up.
Roll over and then push up.
TJ will sometimes help me.
Okay.
Yeah, he gives me that, as if you're 9 months pregnant, like, gotta push you up. But, yeah. I feel good, though. You know, it went by really fast, the C-section.
Oh,
so.
that's good.
Yeah.
Are you awake during the C-section?
Yeah. Yeah, they, so they, it took a while for the epidural to work, so they had to tip me upside down, you know, because it has to get up higher than just your hips, has to go all the way up. And I wasn't feeling good, and they said sometimes it happens, it drops your blood pressure, so they had to give me medicine, which helped right away. I'm like, oh, thank you, I'm back to normal.
Oh, good.
But it took a while, and so during that, the doctor's searching for her heartbeat, and then he couldn't find it. So then he was like, someone needs to get the dad in here now, because I'm like, okay, I don't feel you, because they'll take a little pin and poke you. Go, do you feel it? I'm like, yes, I feel all of that. They're like, okay, come on. And eventually I'm like, no, you're poking me? I have no idea.
Isn't that crazy that there's some sort of medicine that you literally don't feel half of your body for just a few hours, and then you're back to normal?
So TJ was funny because he gets in and he sits down right here, you know, and literally a minute later, baby's out. TJ's like,
what?
All right, bye. You know? So,
like they made the incision that quickly,
They do it
spread
fast.
you, pulled the baby
because
out.
they were they couldn't find the heartbeat.
That's right. Okay.
So they're
But
like, we got to get her out.
fine.
Yeah. So, but yeah, she was a breech thing, and she just.
She was in there and lodged, you know,
And I could feel
nowhere.
the release of the
Yes.
pressure of the ribs right away.
Oh, that's
I'm
nice.
like, oh, I can breathe. Man, girl, and I expected her, because every time they looked at her, they go, she's going to be a big baby. And they're like, 6 pounds. So I was like, oh, how big's the head? She was like, it's not a big head. I'm like, then what were they seeing?
Now, the head doesn't get messed up in a C-section, right?
No,
Yeah.
so she had a nice round head.
And my kids both came out the other way, and I was fortunate enough their heads were
Yeah.
not weird. You know
And
what I mean?
When you
JT's
said
too.
the other way, I thought you
It's a
meant
cone
like
head.
feet first, and I was like, I thought they didn't
No.
do that.
That's
I mean,
not-
like,
I thought that was the whole point
Yeah.
of the C-section.
Yeah.
JT's too.
yeah, and I think
This
it
wasn't-
maybe just depends on how long they hang out in the push forever with Jackson, so I don't know how his head didn't get all
Oh, I'll turn this slide.
That's funny.
So 54-ish.
Yeah.
But like my sister, my mom will tell the
If it's
story.
55,
she was like, my sister had a giant ass head. And she was like, that's such an ugly baby.
Oh, you've all seen those pictures of like those.
Yeah, well, they look like
cone-head
potatoes.
babies.
Well, babies kind of look like potatoes. Even like at the time, I thought, oh, my kids are really cute, and they were. But then it's like, oh, like infants are just.
Well,
like,
then you go
awkward.
look.
Gaggly, like no form. It's like Jello. It's like holding Jello with those googly eyes on it because they can't do anything until when they can sit up, like at 6 months,
Yeah.
and they're like, boom. It's like, oh. Now we're talking.
Right.
It's like somebody who's like,
Which
a
is why
drunk.
I felt like
taking
Summer was
a drunk
like,
friend out who's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
They're
come over
burning.
here. Keep your head up.
I know.
but I feel like Summer was a beautiful baby.
Oh yeah,
Thank
she is
you.
beautiful. I
Like-
saw her in person.
Like there are
She
some,
was-
there are
yeah.
some newborns that I look at and I'm like,
Well, she's
I
got
was
good
like,
color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that helps.
They gave her, they gave her a 9 out of 10 with color. So
Oh,
she's got no.
so the pool
Lots.
time for Mama.
Yeah.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. We got a full crew tonight with Donna Murphy back in studio with us 3 weeks after giving birth to little baby Summer. And she was here long enough to talk about the performance of Blake Bortles, which was awesome. But on Sunday, because Blake actually did have a lot of passing yards, he was one of 12 quarterbacks that passed for more than 300 yards, a first for the league that loves to protect the most important position in all of sports. And with sort of an increase in defensive penalties being called against literally every team in the league, I started to wonder if the Jaguars and their run-first defensive approach, as far as team building is concerned, is already behind the skew as where the future of the NFL is going with, performances and by Jared Goff with the Rams, then you see obviously with the Chiefs, with Mahomes. So do you guys think that the Jaguars are already sort of behind the curve when it comes to team building already just this year?
I'll say no, and I'll give you a couple reasons. Todd Gurley, Kareem Hunt, and Alvin Kamara. Those 3 backs are on teams that have a good balance of passing and rushing the football. They're all elite football teams, and because they have excellent play calling, they're able to do both things, and they rely a lot of times on their rushing attack to be able to set up that pass. So for me, the Jaguars could have had it all figured out if they still had the pieces that they thought they were going to have coming into this football season, or at least at this point in the football season. And so I don't think they're old in their mentality of saying, let's play great defense and run the football, because that's not all they were going to do.
Well, those 3 teams that you just mentioned all have questionable defenses, and they all have really...
The Saints, last night, their defense was fantastic.
Well, last night, on the year.
Last year it got better. I mean,
on the year,
they
though.
used to have a terrible defense, but it improved a lot last year.
Sure.
And even last night, they lost Marshawn Lattimore, one of their best cornerbacks, to a concussion. But
even Sean McVay the other night, he chose to go for it on 4th down because he didn't trust his defense enough to give the ball back to Russell Wilson because he thought Russell Wilson was going to beat him. So that's
the Chiefs' defense. I feel like stats-wise, it looked terrible. And again, they gave up 430 passing yards, right, to the Jaguars. But that was a stat thing. They get ups in games because they start fast, they play fast, they have all that speed. And they have a great quarterback for Patrick Mahomes. Their defense was really good. They got after the quarterback in Blake Bortles. They were able to, do what they wanted to do with D Ford and that pass rush. And so, to me, statistically, they may be a really bad defense, but you know what? The Redskins were the best defense statistically coming into last night against the Saints. How did that work? So that's where I don't think the Chiefs are as bad on defense as we thought. And I think the Rams have such a high-powered offense that they haven't had to rely yet on their defense, and they haven't played anybody great yet either. So I'm going to say that the Jaguars had the opportunity to be a team that could be successful with their philosophy, but right now they don't have the pieces to do it.
Yeah, no, look, it's really easy to get drawn into the excitement that is high-flying offenses, and I mean that's kind of what's fun to watch, and it's fun to see those many points scored. I do think it's an interesting concept when the majority of teams are taking this approach of like, we want a big gun quarterback, we want a guy who's going to be able to throw all over the place, we'd like a run game to balance it out, and our defense, if we can stop a few guys here and there, but we know we're going to score more points than the other. I mean, the Chiefs are the perfect example of that, right? They have taken and gone all in on the offense, all these offensive weapons, and thought, screw it. We'll just score more points than anybody else. If our defense gives up points, we know at least at the end of the day, if we've got a drive that we have to come from behind, we've got enough ammo and firepower to do that. The Jags went the opposite direction. They put all their money in on defense. This mentality of defense wins championships, I don't know that that's the case anymore. Your 2000 Ravens who dominated and shut out people, and in their 4 games, they won 11 straight to end their season, which included a perfect run through the playoffs, obviously, with that Super Bowl win. Guys, they gave up 23 combined points through the entire playoffs in the Super Bowl. 23. Fast forward 18 years, that's not what the NFL looks like anymore.
And Ray Lewis openly admits that his defensive play would be called every single time in today's league.
But to your point, you take a risk, you run the risk of going, you know what? We're going to stick with Blake. We know he's not, you can't compare him to these other guys. He's not these elite quarterbacks, but we think we're going to buy in enough. We're going to be able to work our run game with Leonard Fournette. That's why we took him so high in the draft, because we believe in him, and that has backfired because of his health. So I don't know, to second guess and to kind of go, well, crap, maybe this isn't working out.
I don't know that this is the blueprint for success in today's NFL.
We will see. If this works out, because there have been, the Denver Broncos, that's the most recent one I can come up with.
That's also a different NFL. I mean, it literally has changed within one season.
And Peyton Manning's a shell of himself, and he's not what he was, but they found a way to kind of fight and claw their way back. This, though, you've gone up against you've gone up against the epitome of high-flying offense, and you got beat. There's no, and your defense only gave up 23 points, but when your offense could score essentially anything till late, I think it's worrisome.
I mean, for me, it depends on the season. It depends on what teams are trending what. Because last Super Bowl, it was not about defenses at all. You know, if Brady can throw for that many yards and lose, it's not about defenses. And if it's not for these 2 bad losses, we're not talking about it. You know, so I think, you know, maybe another couple weeks and we'll see how it's trending. I will tell you this, with the addition of Jamal Charles, which I'm excited about, just don't ask him anything about fantasy football. Because I can tell you right now, he absolutely hates fantasy football. Because I tried and begged him. Yes, I begged him. The last Super Bowl I worked with Dempsey, I begged him to come on Dempsey's fantasy show for SiriusXM. And I tried at least 3 times, and every time, no, I hate fantasy. And he was the leading rusher that year. So I was like, well,
I probably would hate it if I was a player too, though. If I got the negativity that a lot of the players
get. But he won. That was the thing. I'm like, you were the best running back. No one hates you.
Points.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on. Nope, I hate
it. But still, the idea of like fantasy quote-unquote owners, I know players don't like for it to be called that, and that's a whole different conversation, though.
Well, speaking of, if you're watching a bad movie, because that's really what I felt like was happening on Sunday, and it was just so infuriating. But the night before, I actually watched a very bad movie on screen. I went and saw Venom, which was, the early reviews were not good. Even Tom Hardy, the lead actor of it, said that his favorite 40 minutes of the movie was cut out. And anytime the lead actor of a movie says that on release week, it's probably not going to be a great experience. Yeah, we already had ticket spots, so we sort of just, we just grinned and bared it and went and watched it. And the whole time I'm watching it, I'm thinking, how did these actors, how did they decide to say yes to this movie? Especially an actor like Tom Hardy, who you would expect to make really good film decisions as far as his careers. It should be on the uptick, right? He's playing an iconic character, but it was the worst movie I have seen in a movie theater, but I didn't walk out. I stayed until the end. I don't think I've ever walked out of a movie ever. But have you guys ever walked out of a movie, and which one?
I did. I walked out of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh,
and that's with the subtitles?
No, that's more of...
I read the books, and then I saw the movie.
Yeah, I was not going to sit there and watch the rape scene. Not going to do it.
Yeah,
and so I walked out, and I didn't go back. And I refused to watch the spider web or whatever, the next one they have created. I'm not watching it.
I didn't see any of that. I didn't see that movie.
But I did fall asleep in one of the Transformer movies.
But you did.
You can fall asleep in a movie theater? That's talent.
I mean,
I can't do that.
I'm all for, I can be hanging with the guys like the best one, but that whatever Transformer movie, I'm like, this is so boring.
I went on strike for a long time, and my husband and I hated going to movies because it did not fail. We'd go in, we'd pay the outrageous ticket price, we'd sit down, and some idiot would sit behind us or in front of us. That's before they created the capacity of it holds a third of the amount of people that it does or did then by expanding the seats.
Did you not get up and move?
No, it didn't matter. I mean, it was like people had cell phones as before. They really were like, no, let's be, conscious. Idiots everywhere. There's either somebody who's narrating the movie, there's somebody who's literally talking on the, I'm like, what are we doing? So we went on strike. And for this is embarrassing, but 6 or 7 years, at one point people would be like, hey, have you seen so-and-so? We're like, we haven't been in the movie since the Da Vinci Code. And people were like, oh my God, that was forever ago. We're like, yeah, we're not wasting. We had small kids at the time, so our free time was very limited. We're like, we're not wasting time going to sit with these idiots who are going to be disrespectful of everybody else. So.
I love that you saw the Da Vinci Code, though.
Right?
I'm so happy with that one.
But since then, the worst movie I've seen in the theater that we looked at each other and thought, what are we doing here, was Hail Caesar. I didn't get it. It was like a...
Oh, is that...
George Clooney's in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is way up... I don't understand what's happening. And then I think Daniel was texting on his... He was that guy, but we were up in the corner. He's on his phone the whole time, and I'm like, what are we doing? This is ridiculous. And then I was like, should we No, we'll probably just suffer through it, so... I've paid
for it.
You have to see
movies in theaters to walk out, and
you
I will beat your streak easily. The last movie I saw was January 2014 in a theater. It was American Sniper. I will beat yours by however many.
Movie,
I will keep. It was a great movie. Mm-hmm. I'm just not a movie theater person. I'm not a movie person. To
no, the Da Vinci Code was 2010, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or 9
yeah.
Or
well, I guarantee in 5 5 years I'll come back to you and say I
won't have seen
it. Do you watch movies at all, or just not in the theater?
Not really. I don't watch movies at home either. I know a lot of people, like, when they get home, they turn on the TV, they flip through to see what's on, whether it's a TV show that, they've seen 1,000 times, or they'll flip on a movie they've seen before. I have zero desire when I get home to turn on the television.
I do feel really out of the loop.
Unless it's like sports.
Like you said, that actor's name from Venom. What's his name?
Tom Hardy.
You're like, I'm like, I don't know who that
Google
is.
him and you can thank me later.
What else was he? He looks attractive.
Batman.
She's already Googled.
I was like, oh, he's hot. No, I haven't. I've seen the commercial though, and I'm like, okay, he's hot. What is this thing that's coming? What
Did you
is
see
he,
Dark
what
Knight?
else is he in?
Was
Okay,
that-
so is he like
No, he wasn't in Dark
comic
Knight.
or like DC?
No,
What
this was
makes
his
him
first appearance in like a superhero
Okay.
quote superhero
All right.
movie. But he was in what's Tony's favorite movie?
He was Bane.
No. Was he Bane?
Yeah, he was Bane.
What's Tony's favorite movie though?
I thought it was Dark Knight.
No, what is Tony's favorite movie?
Tony
We've seen
Smith?
it like 20 times
Yes.
in the theater. I just don't know the name of it. 'Cause I
Oh,
know.
is it
Mad Max?
Yes, Mad Max.
Oh, okay.
He's
Yeah,
in Mad
Mad Max.
Max.
All
I
right.
think that's his biggest claim
Yeah.
to fame so far.
I did see
Yeah.
Magic Mike in the theaters.
I just
With
like
a group of girlfriends.
Frank can
That
rewatch
was
Major
awesome.
League
slightly
1,000
awkward.
times. Like he said,
Oh, me too. I can too.
on flights, like
Yeah.
No, I
he'll
love
just
it. It's
dial
one of
that
my
up on his
favorites,
iPad,
yes.
whatever. You would have to pay me to rewatch one movie
Really?
over and
If
over.
there's a
and
Harry
over and
Potter
over
marathon
again.
or like a Lord of the Rings marathon over the weekend, this is back when I had cable, I'm getting nothing done that weekend because
Really?
I'm sitting right in front of the TV, got my little laptop, I'm cozied up, I'm not going anywhere.
Shoot,
That's with Harry Potter or with Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. Any of those movies I will rewatch 1,000 times over. But from bad games and movies to what food your state loves to hate. This was a recent story from The Takeout. They listed the food item that each state hates based off of data from a dating app called Hater, which matches users based off the mutual disdain for things like celebs and TV shows and, yes, food. So a few of the notables that Florida's most hated food is licorice. Texas is well-done steak. And I'm a little puzzled by California's hate obsession with Chick-fil-A, but there's a whole list, and I'll tweet this out later, but there's a whole list of everything that each state hates. Mm-hmm. And so licorice was the one that came up in email because, Donna, you love it. I detest it.
Like black licorice?
No.
Oh, well, don't say Twizzlers, because that's not the same, is it?
Twizzlers is licorice.
What
What else is licorice?
No, I bet this is black licorice, don't you?
No, it's red. They have it in red.
There's lots of red on this
combination.
map. I think that's just a graphic thing.
Well, they need to
specify red
no,
or
black licorice, but Twizzlers are awesome.
I think some. No, I know. That's why I'm Twizzlers.
Didn't people used to dip Twizzlers in their like diet
soda? They bite the top off.
No, that was the Starburst version that were fruity. Those were decent, but they still were not very good to
I
eat.
love
but
Twizzlers.
black licorice is from the devil.
Yeah.
Y'all agree?
Yes.
Okay. Brent Martineau was like he used to pretend like it was dip, so he was cool.
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
Funny.
But black, no.
But
okay.
preach
But do you like
on
Twizzlers?
No, I hate
Okay,
Twizzlers.
so you hate all of it,
them.
okay.
preach on Massachusetts because mayonnaise with French fries.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's just
Oh,
That's
Brian
just-
eats
Nope.
And I love how in the
fries
middle of the
with
state
mayonnaise
or the middle of the U.S. I'm bad on my geography, but the middle of the U.S. they hate shellfish, and I wonder why.
That's
because
Kansas.
you're
That's Kansas.
you're not near
You're not
any
there.
kind of body of water or like
and the
an
state-
ocean.
The state below Kansas, the one I came from, is veggie burgers, and I can promise you, they barely eat a veggie in Oklahoma. They ain't eating no veggie burgers.
What about the Flamin' Hot Cheetos to the left?
Those are delicious.
The Flamin' Hot Cheetos. How could you hate Flamin' Hot Cheetos?
That's Colorado. We're having
Is that Colorado?
Isn't it? Yeah, that's
I don't
Colorado.
know.
Who
Yeah.
hates chicken nuggets, man?
Yeah, who hates where?
There's a lot of weird people
Come
in the U.S.
on.
But when we come
Seattle-
back,
Okay, hold on. The fact that Seattle hates Keurig K-Cups,
Right.
that's so perfect.
that is
Starbucks
kind of
is from.
perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
It is kind of perfect.
'Cause
But
you could
California,
buy Starbucks
what is the
K-cups.
deal with hating Chick-fil-A?
That's
I
politics.
It's-
Yeah.
You think it's politics?
Yes.
That's stupid. They make a
Absolutely.
damn good chicken sandwich. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk with Ashlyn Sullivan, digital reporter for the Jaguars. We're going to get into a little bit more Jaguars news. So that's all coming up. This is Helmets and Heels built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Get play-by-play under the Friday Night Lights.
Mayonnaise with
Black
French
licorice is
fries.
different, but
Yeah,
Biting
I assumed that. I've never referred to Twizzlers as licorice.
I like the expensive cheese plates.
No, what? I didn't know people would bite
Okay,
the tops
that's-
off and use
they're
it as
right
a
next to
straw.
Wisconsin,
I
right?
know.
know.
That's why.
Okay, thank you.
And why does Wisconsin
It's
hate
been like over
Lunchables?
20 years.
I don't know. Why does Michigan hate cold pizza?
You would think they would like a lot of cold things. Of
Right. What's wrong with cold? I love cold pizza.
That's
I
why-
love Maine, Asian fusion. you know.
Expensive cocktails. I hate that.
Canned
Spray
food.
cheese.
No canned
Was
food
that
for
Vermont?
Connecticut.
Is that Vermont? I gotta get better at geography.
No,
I don't
those
know where
ones
any of
in
these
the
states
Northeast
are.
The ones in the Northeast are impossible to identify, but we have this
Canned food for somebody up here.
For Connecticut.
Youngest baby.
Yeah.
Connecticut
Aw,
hates
that's
canned
awesome.
food.
I know, isn't she cute?
That's awesome.
She's a cutie.
Wait till you see my
The corner piece of
sister-in-law
brownies.
made
Beans.
stickers
Minnesota hates beans.
for
That's the dumbest
see how
thing
they
I've
do the
ever
months.
heard.
Yeah.
So she made me
I don't like
month
green
stickers.
beans.
Yeah.
But all
Anything
Boston sports.
gluten-free.
So like
That is-
1 month old is like
yeah, that
Red
is
Sox
cute.
logo,
Aw.
Celtics logo.
Yeah.
Idaho.
I'm like,
That's
this is
so
that's
cute.
Is that Wyoming? I think that's Wyoming.
No.
That's TJ's
Montana's
sister.
above it, yeah.
No,
It's
that's
my
my
sister.
that's
Brother's
my
wife.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking at these states and I'm like, I know a ballpark.
Yeah, only because I've been out there and I've dripped, so I'm aware what this
So-
is.
Yeah, that makes
Again,
sense.
Northeast is, you could just throw, I can't.
my
picture it.
Oh, I'm already sore. That's a problem.
I've also heard there was one radio show I was listening to, and one of the producers who lives out in California said he absolutely hated Chick-fil-A, and it was because he felt that it was overrated when he actually tried it.
Well,
like,
you know, like their stance on
Right.
homosexuals.
Yeah.
So I think that's
That's
there's
why
a-
California.
you
yeah.
think?
Mhm.
I think so. I think it has.
I think it's like
Plus,
I think
that-
it's a war with like In-N-Out.
That's what I was gonna say. Plus, I think
they're
it,
so
it
proud
adds.
of In-N-Out. I
Right.
tried In-N-Out once and I thought it was overrated.
Really? I
What
thought it
did
was
I have?
fucking phenomenal.
What did I have?
I was on one
Can't
Cali
remember
trip
what it
one
was.
time, and it was the first time I ate it, and I loved it so much I had it again like right before I left. Like,
Yeah, maybe the fries were cold and I just was kind of like, what? I don't. It
The
was
burger
about-
was phenomenal.
Was it? Maybe I have to give it another shot.
Mm.
I'm willing to give things other shots after.
Like for fast
Here you
food
go.
burgers,
Yeah.
like it's
But
upper
who-
echelon.
Nobody
Oh, I
loves
like that beef.
There's a little
Didn't you
man.
guys talk about that?
Like Jeff said, he made spaghetti, but I didn't think about like what would another man make if he had to make dinner. Brian's would be limitless, of course. Oh my gosh! Look.
He loves her.
Oh my goodness
JT?
gracious!
That
His
is
hand
love.
around
Is
her
he
foot.
jealous of her yet or no?
No.
His hand around her foot
No.
is like the most precious and adorable thing ever.
He loves
His
her.
little smile. Oh, where's her? Oh.
He, every time someone new sees her. Yeah. There's no one more adorable than my sister. I'm like, you're so sweet, buddy.
That is so precious. I don't want to like.
Do you want me to
I'll
give
just
it to
go
you
right in the
underneath?
middle.
Yeah.
I don't think it reaches well underneath. So let's just go right there.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you, ma'am. My laptop used to last almost 4 hours. Now it lasts about an hour. So it's like a phone battery. It just dies in time.
It is.
Cold in here? Yeah, I just realized I have goosebumps and I wish that I had my sweatshirt.
I don't have the
Do you
oven.
want me to go get my sweatshirt?
anymore.
Oh, I have a
No.
blanket too.
No, it's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm sleeping with clothes again. I'm like, man, I'm cold. Jeez.
We have our temperature set on 79 when we
That's
go
what
to
we.
sleep.
That's what
What?
ours is.
79. I put ours on 71.
I put a 70, or
Yes.
I would do it lower if I could.
Would sweat. It's like hotness. Well, at night, it's like
I cannot sleep if
No,
it's hot.
our house is not hot. It's cool. With the
Yeah.
fan on high, it's cool.
No, so
I need
that's
like-
too high.
I need it
It's
like-
too high.
It feels
I
good.
need borderline
I'm telling you.
shivering.
Yes, I need to be
My in-laws,
if I get up and
my
go
in-laws
pee.
are like you, like at 70, and like we go to their house, not very often, but when we go, I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus, pray for me. And I'm always like, turn the thermostat down. And they come, they're like, it's freezing. And I'm like, it's 74.
That's like
This is not
Seinfeld.
So, yes, and he's
Remember
like,
that?
yeah.
When they go down the floor.
Yes, and he's like, she's like, I
Carly
can't
moved-
do it. That's me. Elaine is still, I'm like, I can't.
It's really, I'm telling you, it's not hot. Because when Carly moved down from Pennsylvania and is living with us, I was like, you know, we will adjust it. Thank
She
you.
comes from like freezing ass
To
cold
you,
places.
yeah.
Oh,
And
it
we
feels
were like,
great.
if you're hot, just let us know. And she's like, your house is very comfortable. So
that's good.
it's not, I'm telling you, it's not like it's hot. I promise.
I get like mental about 1 degree, and I'm like, is It's on 72. Oh, it's too hot. You're at 71. I can't sleep. Daniel's like, you're insane. I'm like, I know. Sorry.
JJ, you got a song, right, friend?
Yeah.
There you go. Tuesday night at 7 o'clock means Ashlyn Sullivan, digital reporter and host for Jaguars.com, joins us. Hello, Ashlyn. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We are great. Thanks. Just, working through Sunday's loss, but I think at some point we're going to move past, and just like the team, tomorrow we will turn our attention towards the Cowboys. All right,
Correct.
The Jaguars made some roster moves today. How do you feel about running back Jamal Charles?
I think it's a great fit, not only on the field, but off the field. I mean, we knew the Jaguars had running back issues after the loss in Kansas City with Corey Grant going down. You also have TJ Yeldon, who's not 100%. He has a bad wheel, a bad ankle. And then you're unsure of when Leonard Fournette is going to come back. So I think they absolutely had to make a move at running back this week, and they actually made two moves by bringing in two running backs. But with Jamal Charles and him being in the league now, going on his 11th season, I think the more so the impact he's going to make is in the locker room. Because with Leonard Fournette and some of the young guys, with TJ Yeldon as well, who's not been in the league that long, and being Jamal Charles and being in the league for 10 years now, I think he's going to be somewhat of a leader with that running back group, which I think they need right now. I think they need some positive momentum and direction with that group.
Ashlyn, the Jags seem like an every other week team, and by that I mean they're great one week and kind of crappy the next week. So does it concern you with the play that happened on the kind of play that occurred on Sunday, or are you not worried?
I'm not exactly worried. What I am worried about is the injury. I think the identity of the offense has kind of been in question lately, because we knew in training camp that this team's identity was to pound the ball and run the ball. That's why you brought in Andrew Norwell on the offensive line. That's why you drafted Leonard Fournette. And you look at this offensive you look at this offensive line right now, and it's pretty beat up. Almost every single offensive lineman is dealing with some kind of injury. At running back, you have major injuries, so it's forcing the Jaguars to kind of lose what they're known for with their offensive identity. So that is the one thing that worried me, is these injuries. I think as soon as Leonard Fournette gets back on the field, and maybe we see with Jamal Charles, I think when they find that running identity again, everything will go back to the way it used to be with this offense and what the Jaguars know best.
Yannick said after the Chiefs game that he felt the energy just wasn't there with the team this week. How are the Jaguars addressing that lack of energy so they don't face that same low enthusiasm this week against Dallas?
It was interesting. I was there in Kansas City, and I've never seen the team more pumped up pregame. I mean, Dante Fowler and Yannick Ngakoue were perfect examples. They were running around everywhere, screaming, yelling, singing. This team was really amped up at the beginning, and right after the first offensive drive for Kansas City, where they went all the way down the field, I think it kind of surprised this Jaguars defense that, hey, this Kansas City offense is really good. We've been saying it all week, but they saw it firsthand. And it almost was like the Jaguars defense was kind of shocked. So I did see a bit of a lack, not a lack of enthusiasm, but I think it was kind of miscommunication and almost confusion on the bench about how to stop this Kansas City offense. So I think the lack of intensity, I don't think that'll be there this week. This team is a pretty intense team. I think it was more so just a miscommunication about Kansas City on Sunday.
Ashlyn, your expectations or predictions for this team before the season started, have they changed through 5 weeks now?
They haven't, no. And you look at last year, and I remember us talking about this last year, this roller coaster of a season, the ups and the downs. And Blake Bortles, he has a great game, and then he has not a great game. And it's just, I think we're all getting lost on how early it is in this season. We're going into week 6. So I expected this team to be a good team, and I still believe it is a very good team. I think they have a great defense. I think they will fix their offensive struggles. I trust Nathaniel Hackett. I love his play calling so far this season. So I think what I expected this season to be, I don't know if I expected it to be quite such a roller coaster at the beginning, but I did think we were going to have some up and downs with this team this season. That's what we're seeing.
And we did see that last year, so at least the team itself has been through this up and down season before, and they know how to get it back on track. And certainly, we talked about earlier, head coach Doug Marrone is 8-1 following losses with this Jaguars team. So there are positive signs, and hopefully the Jaguars will defeat the Cowboys on Sunday. All right, let's get into a dose of Daly's Place now. A really fun country concert coming up next Saturday with Brett Eldredge at Daly's Place, right?
Yes, so that's Saturday, October 20th, the day before the Houston Texans game at home. It's at 7:30. You're going to have Brett Eldridge with the Long Way Tour and Devin Dawson and Abby Anderson as well. So that'll be a great way to kick off the only home weekend in October, having a country concert the night before. Once again, talking about how we're making Jacksonville the place to be during football weekends and coming to Daly's Place the night before. So a fun weekend planned.
Brett Eldridge has such a fantastic kind of luxuriously raspy voice, if that's even a thing. That's how I'll term it. All right, and then one other thing that caught my eye. Tell me, please, about this Florida-Georgia hospitality party.
Yes, so that will be on Florida-Georgia Day, the game at Daly's Place. It starts at 11:30 and goes till halftime. It's hosted in Daly's Place. It's also hosted by the mayor, Lenny Curry, and it's food and drinks and kind of a fan experience event. They're going to have a Florida side and a Georgia side. They're going to have both of the university bands performing, so kind of like a fan fest as you would, but it's pretty cool that it's right there in Daly's Place, right where the game is going to be. So that I know took place last year. It's going to be happening again, and you can purchase tickets for that event.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to speaking with you next Tuesday, and as I always say, hopefully it is following a Jaguars victory. Thanks, Ashlyn.
Let's hope so. Of course. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. All right, JJ, take it away.
No. Am I the only one who knows this?
No.
I think we should sing along. No, you're mine.
Nobody wants to hear
I
that.
just never sing.
Well, keep letting go on this.
You
is the best
always
part. Here we
sing.
go. Ooh, wee, ooh, I look just like Buddy Holly.
All right, if you know
Cut
the
their
name of
mics,
the
JJ.
song,
Cut the mics.
or the
Cut the
artist,
mics.
Text into the 1070XL text line driven by Duval Ford. That is 641-1010. You can win tonight's Peterbrook Chocolate Heel. Again, if you know the name of the artist or the name of the song, send a text to JJ, and the first person will win tonight's Peterbrook Chocolate Heel.
By the way, I
what a
did
good
tweet to Daly's Place.
Yes.
When Bublé came out with his first song, his
Yes.
new song, I'm like, come on, you gotta book him.
It would be a great venue for him.
There's gonna be a day, probably next year, but there will be a day where I get to talk about it and say, hey, I'm going
During
to
Christmas
Bublé.
time. During Christmas time, right? The Bublé Christmas
I
album.
love it.
So good.
Love
That
me some
would be
Bublé.
that would be the perfect present for you. So if your mom or your husband is listening right now, and if ever
Bublé.
Michael Bublé comes to Daly's Place, buy tickets for Donna. All right, I don't really want to do this, but I guess we have to. Let's do the injury update, which is just really concerning at this point. But Lauren, take it away.
The personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah present this injury update. Farah and Farah, protecting you and your family since 1979.
You know, ever since I've had this responsibility, the list of injured Jaguars keeps growing and growing.
So we can blame you.
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead. Whatever. All right, let's start off first. I hope everybody has their pencils out and their paper ready because this is a list that keeps growing week to week. Let's go with the IR, the injured reserve. Austin Seferian-Jenkins, who will be on the part of the IR that can make a return later on in the season. That core injury that bothered him before the season really even started. I think we've all diagnosed it maybe with a hernia, had surgery, or will have surgery. But
It sounds like the same thing that happened to Dede Westbrook last year. It affected him in the preseason. Then he went on IR, designated to return.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to return it and had a decent, rest of the half of the season. So hopefully,
we'll get that fixed and
So
hopefully be
Jenkins
back.
can do that.
Corey Gritt will not be making a return anytime soon. His agent wants to make sure everybody knows he then becomes a free agent, and should be 100% ready to go during free agency. So I'm sure he'll find a place somewhere other than Jacksonville when it's all said and done.
By the way, when that happened and you guys were watching the game, he immediately pointed that someone needed to come over, but it didn't look season-ending to me. And I don't know enough about Liz Frank injuries and how exactly it affects your foot with those ligaments.
Right.
But it didn't look terrible. And then as soon as he was on the cart, that's when you knew, no matter what it is, it's going to be at least a few weeks.
Yeah, when you start waving to the sidelines, that's when you know that something is terribly wrong.
I just expected it to be kind of an ankle, and I thought, oh, well, he just wants a shot. That's why he's pointing, like, hey, come get me. I want to be able to get back in there, but obviously not.
Nope, he will not make a return this season in a Jaguars uniform. Let's add to the list with the left tackle position. We know we lost the The Jags lost Cam Robinson earlier in the year. Josh Wells, groin injury prevented him from finishing the game. Josh Walker could be the starter against the Cowboys. We'll wait and see on that, as there's no official word yet, but when practice gets going back tomorrow, we'll have a better idea. Leonard Fournette, who I don't think anybody expects to be part of this team before the bye week, or at least I'll speak for myself. I don't speak for the rest of you ladies, but that's kind of my assumption. Doug Marrone, in his press conference on Monday, said, yeah, we're going to wait and see how he and DJ Hayden, thank you. Almost tried to combine his name with
Sure.
Yeldon.
Yes, thank you.
All of them.
All of them. Thank you. Hello, brain. By the time this hits at 7:15, my brain is dead for the day. Either way, Fournette, we'll wait and see. But Ian Rappaport, 20 minutes after Doug Marrone says, let's give it till Wednesday, said, according to my sources, he's not making the trip to Dallas. So we'll keep an eye on that, of course, as well. And again, Josh Wells, we'll find out if what his status is, and if not, Walker will be the guy in that left tackle. Did I hit everything? Is there anybody I missed? President accounted for?
I mean, like you said, we won't really have the newest, the latest, the greatest, or worst injury report out until tomorrow. So I think you hit everything. It just it gets depressing when, when it's this many.
And Linder, to keep an eye on, it's gone from lower body with a knee or a back. I know there was some point in the season
initially,
and then it was back against the Jets, and so he doesn't practice on Wednesday anyway. Right. So keep that in mind, just based on whatever comes out of camp or out of practice tomorrow.
Whew, we need a bye week.
All right, when we come back, we are going to talk about something that is not sports related, and that is having a baby and what to expect after having a baby. And then we'll get it back to sports and talk a little Major League Baseball. That is all next. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Special teams.
Bold City Health.
Okay, thank you.
So I made my boyfriend watch 4 Days in October. And now he is a Red Sox fan.
Nice.
Because he's not the biggest sports fan, so teaching him through documentaries and stuff
unlike
like that.
Donna, I did not just have a baby, so I am sleeping so good these days, thanks to my friends at Bold City Health, because my spine is now aligned properly and my neck pain is gone.
It was sucked
Lauren Brooks here, and if you have chronic pain, you'll want to meet Dr. Ann and Dr. April at Bold City Health. They will help you learn why you're having those issues and how to correct them through adjustments and proper nutrition. Plus, they have flexible hours and they're open on Saturdays, so you'll always be able to find a time to go. Call Bold City Health today at 379-4621 or find them online at boldcitychiropractic.com. But there's so much more than just a chiropractor, and this Friday you can learn how to regulate your hormones at the Hormone Reboot Workshop at 7 o'clock at Journey Church. Hormonal imbalances are on the rise in both men and women, and since hormones have a profound effect on our mental, physical, and emotional health, you won't want to miss this workshop. It's again this Friday night at 7 o'clock at Journey Church. That's boldcitychiropractic.com.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I've told TJ, I think the last month and a half of the season, I'm like, if we score 5 runs, it's almost a guaranteed win.
Yeah.
90% of the time they're winning.
The first time that I watched a baseball game from beginning to end was the postseason.
No, was it?
Yeah.
Because I've been watching. I've had so much fun. The team.
I've watched
with all their dances.
And kept up with them, but not religiously. But it is cool to, after I watched the 4 Days in October, and it was like, wow, I didn't know that was the first time that they faced each other since 2004. Right? I was like, God,
or this is the very first time they've ever faced each other in the division.
Right.
I'm like, that in the ALDS? This is the very first meeting?
And they think about it, it's always been the Yankees winning the division, and the Red Sox getting the wild card.
But they never faced each other in the division. That's so...
So when I heard, I was like, they were facing each other for the first time since 2004. I was like, damn, it's the ALCS already?
I know.
And I was like, no, the DS. I'm like, oh, shit.
It's crazy.
Well, by the way, I didn't send you all the dailies plays because I didn't get it until a few minutes before the show started. So I was like, there's only 2 things on here. I'll just do it.
Yeah. But no, he loved it. He would get up to go to the bathroom and be like, press pause.
That's awesome.
Yeah, okay.
Nice. I like it. That's good.
But I died laughing when he was like, I really like this Kurt Schilling guy. And I was like,
aww.
It's not, he's not good to like anymore.
It's downhill after this. After the bloody sock, it's all downhill. He created a video game that failed miserably.
His transgender bathroom comments, he's a little out there politically.
He was on, whenever I was with Mike at one of the Super Bowls the Pats were in, and so it was like Radio Row was all New England, and so he was there forking over his games, and he gave us all a copy of his game. Yeah, I immediately went and turned that in. I was like, GameStop, how much you gonna give me for this?
I was like 2 cents.
I'm not gonna play this.
How much did they give you?
I don't remember. It was so much.
It probably had to be like a couple bucks.
Well, it was brand new.
Yeah.
So, but
so maybe something.
I'm like, oh, Kurt Schilling. Goodness.
I was like, no. You should like Big Papi or Pedro Martinez. Like,
right?
Like them, not Kurt Schilling.
Did you show him the fight?
I tried to explain that ahead of time, and I was like, this is why we don't like his bitch ass. Like, even though it's weird though, because Jeter and A-Rod, since they both stopped playing, both of them, like, perception wise,
right,
has changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Like, people love A-Rod now, and people hate Jeter now.
Yeah, and he does a great job. Like, him and Poppy are hilarious. Did you see the bet that they made? Whoever team wins, that person has to wear the full uniform.
I'm surprised that Poppy would agree to that.
I was like, fine. He's like, get his size, because he's going to be wearing it.
What's that?
Poppy had his 4 rings. He's like, look at me, I'm Mr. T.
He never ever calls me. So
He's like, you
doesn't
see
even
this
mean to be
thumb? It's
calling
going to
you.
have another one.
He's probably meaning to call
So
somebody
funny,
else.
man.
He won 4 rings with the Sox?
That's why I was like, huh? But they gave him.
Oh, maybe his MVP is one of them or something.
Maybe. But he said, he goes, oh, the Sox are giving me a ring, even if they win. I get one.
Nomar got a ring
for
the 04 series.
But I'm like, you weren't even with the team this year. Why you get a ring?
Well, they voted, I guess, even though it was a charity case.
It's like, yeah, I get a ring.
Oh, so I put this as, instead of you hosting, as me, because I'm basically asking you questions, so that's why I felt like it'd be better if I just, like, ask you versus you.
Do you want me to bring it back?
You absolutely can.
Okay.
I was just doing, however, because I'm basically asking you about stuff, so I didn't want you to be like, well, Donna, how do you feel about the Red Sox? Well, Donna, how do you feel after having a baby? So that's why I set it up like that. But you do whatever you want to do.
No, that's fine.
I just meant to tell you that.
I can bring it back and explain the article.
By all means, go for it. Lisa Lobo, do you know Ariema on the television? What the heck is going on?
I think they're talking about Pet Summit, weren't they?
Oh, I thought they were talking about.
No, I think it's
I
think it's the NBA.
Oh.
Yeah, like that.
It's so weird seeing LeBron in a Lakers jersey.
Oh, I know, isn't it?
Like, everybody had a calling to be in the NBA. Like, Larry Bird was on there, and
okay.
Yeah, I think it's just, yeah. That's all.
I had to interview a military girl for our show next week yesterday, and she came with her mom, and they left, and I said to Madeline, who's the producer who set it all up, I was like, she reminded me of, like, a basketball coach. She is a basketball coach. I was like, she reminded me of Pat Summit. She played for Pat Summit.
That's funny. That's impressive.
I was like, that's
presented by
crazy.
Underwood Jewelers and
Thank you.
American Window Products.
On 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Welcome back to Helmets and Heels, built by Dream Finders Homes. So I am back 3 weeks post baby.
Almost, not even 3 weeks.
Not 3 weeks yet. Yeah, 2 days.
Yeah.
2 weeks and
5
days.
We do math really well.
I am bad with math. So I sent this article to you, Lauren, and I thought it would be funny and interesting that Rue and I could definitely give our takes on it. Keira Knightley, the actress, I would think most well known for Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
Even I've seen that, just for the record.
What? That's impressive.
Yeah, I've seen that movie.
She is a mom, and she wrote an open letter to her 3-year-old daughter, and it's called The Weaker Sex. And in it, she blasts Duchess Kate, Prince William's wife, in case anybody's...
British, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And in it, she blasts her which I did find it odd, and as a mom, I guess it's very odd to see when Kate walked out of her after having her third child, just hours after having her third child, and she looked beautiful and back to normal, and like, peace out, I just had the baby, I'm gone. So I don't know how different healthcare is overseas as compared to us.
Maybe less about that. It's more about she's the Duchess, and
right.
you're gonna find every way to
Her Royal Highness.
Yes.
Right,
She
but
ain't
no, I mean,
like the rest of us.
I
But she
mean,
doesn't have to stay in the
physically,
hospital overnight?
that's what I'm
Well, no,
saying.
she's
Like,
again, she's the Duchess.
She probably has better medical care,
They
medical
probably said for
facilities
her safety and the safety
at her
of the
house.
baby, they probably don't. I mean, I would assume that security in a hospital is going to lack in comparison what she has.
Absolutely.
at the
And
palace. They
comfort
probably
level,
want to get her
too.
the hell out of there.
but how are you up walking? Like, that was, I'm just, I don't.
Really? I walked. No,
I
I didn't
was-
look like that at all. I look like
Right.
I went
Well, she's
8
wearing
rounds
like
with Mike Tyson, but-
she's wearing very flowy dresses. Not like
Yeah.
she's wearing something skin tight. I'm
Agreed.
sure she's on, some drugs.
So that's what Keira Knightley would, I mean, she goes into very big detail, which I don't need to read over. I don't.
Yeah, she's
any
a
of
little
the males out there listening don't need to hear what she says. But basically, look beautiful, look stylish. Don't show your battleground, Kate. And she goes in and talks about like her pain and what she looked like afterwards and went through. And I completely agree. Like, it took me 4 months to get back to my size after JT, and Summer didn't do what JT did to me, so it's taken me less time for weight wise to get there, but to get toned and fit again is going to take me a little bit longer. But so I have no qualms with what Keira Knightley said. I just feel like maybe Kate is gifted that way. Maybe she is just lucky, and some moms are just like that.
I don't understand writing a letter to your daughter, blasting somebody else who is a different person, a different body. She has to know that not everybody goes through the same experience.
Right.
I think this is somewhat silly because we talk a lot about being like mom shaming and putting each other up on these pedestals and judging. She's doing exactly that. She's calling out another woman for being presentable leaving the hospital. I mean, you're doing exactly, you're fighting against this. It's counterproductive to come out and talk bad about, well, she's setting unrealistic expectations. What?
For you, maybe.
Right,
For
like,
you.
What is, to me, that's mom shaming. That's what moms are trying to back away from. Everybody's got their own battles. Everybody's got their own advantages over one another. She's not the Duchess, which sounds ridiculous even saying this, but the Duchess,
I love it. The Duchess of Cambridge.
It's not
Her
coming
Royal
out
Highness.
judging anyone going, you look like a slob and you look gross.
Right.
So Keira Knightley needs to chill out. She's like a size -12 to begin
Exactly.
with. She's like a mosquito.
Thank you.
Give me a break. Leave her alone. And she's.
And plus, she's giving birth to the British heir. Like at that
she's
point,
gonna
it's not
have some advantages,
right.
They're gonna have a makeup person hiding everything, going, "Hey, put this on.
And
you gotta walk from here to here, and we'll get you out of here so we can get you back."
And
to
Keira
the
Knightley has access
castle
to all
or
of those
whatever.
things too. So who is she kidding?
So stop. Give me a break.
One thing I did want to ask the two of you, since you've been through it, is did you receive any pressure, whether it be husband, parent, in your case, Lauren, another child, saying like, okay, about when are you going to get back to where you were before? Or was it always just, you're doing great, high five, however long it takes you to get back to kind of pre-baby is perfectly fine?
So when I got home recently, JT asked me, he goes, why do you still have the belly? And I'm like,
I didn't think you would ever ask that.
well, he's very frank.
Precarious.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's very honest and will ask you anything. And I said, well, honey, it's going to take me a while to lose the belly. I'm sorry. There's no baby in there anymore, but you just got to give me some time. And so, okay, that was all. But no, I am very determined though, because even with JT, and I remember this because the nurses were like, we've never had anybody ask this. When I went in to have JT, I said, somebody get me a scale. They're like, a scale? Why? I said, I need to know what my ending weight is. Well, my final weight is, because I want to know how much I need to lose. And so I did that with Summer because I was in the office the day before. I'm like, okay, I know what my ending weight is, and now I know what my goal is.
I never felt pressure from anybody outside myself to be back or to be. I was so ready to not be pregnant and feeling not like myself that the first time around I joined a running group to kind of get back into the swing of things, and it gave me a time to be with other adults because I stayed home. I was fortunate enough to be able to stay home with both my kids early on. So that gave me exercise for my body and for my mind and for my being, feeling like I could do something more than just be there for this child. And then the second time around, I had worked out the entire pregnancy. The day before I delivered with the second time around because it was part of my routine. There was a group of us, and I took the time off until I could bring her to the gym and was right back in. Just because it felt better for me. Nobody was saying, you need to do anything because that warrants you a pretty quick, swift kick to the where if that's the case. But
I didn't really expect either of your husbands.
No, I know, but you're right. I mean, people going
that.
I personally wanted. For me, it was like I need to feel like myself again, and being pregnant is, it can wreck hell on your body at times. So.
Well, and certain people in your lives are blunt also, like regardless of even having a baby. If you've gained weight, there are some people in your life who will simply say like, oh, so I guess you're not working out as much as you once were, you're not eating as well as you once were. And so sometimes it's good, I think, for a kick in the butt if you need it. But I mean, post-baby, I would never encourage
I'm going to throw this quick nugget out there, and I won't reveal who this person was, but somebody in this industry, not here in Jacksonville, but somebody in the sports industry who's well known, once looked at my demo tape and listened to my audio stuff, and I was hoping this person would give me some insight on the radio side of things, and instead watched more of the TV work, and at the end of giving me some, hey, this is good, and here's that, told me I needed to lose 10 to 15 pounds. And it shot me right in the gut. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this was
if you were bigger, that might make sense.
Recently.
TV this was recently. Yes.
I just assumed it was a while ago.
No. Yeah, and that's not me saying this so you all say those nice things about me. Thank you. But no, that was like, was
it a male or female?
It was a man. Yeah. So
I will say though, after now doing this Inside Military Pigskins show and then also doing the Saturday Morning Rush, when you watch yourself on TV, regardless of how you look, you always look at yourself on TV and you're hypercritical and you go, I thought I looked okay until I watched that, and now I feel like I'm so much bigger.
I agree.
Just because of that television camera. And so whenever I watch things, like the other morning when we were in here doing the kickoff show, Friends was on, and I saw how just tiny Courtney Cox looks on TV, and I thought, if you saw her in real life, she must be literally like 95 pounds to look that normal even on TV. Okay, Red Sox, Yankees. Do the Red Sox have enough firepower not just to beat the Yankees, but to win the entire World Series?
Of course they do. The only issue is obviously the bullpen. That middle relief is just crap. I mean,
and one of their starters too.
Yeah. As long as Price isn't facing the Yankees again, then we might be okay, because he's just a whole load of crap himself as well. But it's so much fun.
What do you think is the problem with him?
I don't know.
Is it a mental thing?
It has to be. He doesn't. He rarely performs well in Fenway, and he never beats the Yankees. We only ask that you do two things: you win in the postseason, and you beat the Yankees. And you can't do either. I don't understand his issue. He has never won in the postseason, even when he was with the Rays.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
It's a mentality thing.
Absolutely ridiculous. But, boy, they're so much fun to watch. They really are. I've watched them all season, and I love A-Rod and Poppy. They made bets about whose team will win, and whoever loses, that person has to wear the full-on uniform. I mean, the pants, the jersey, everything. So
that's not a bet I would make.
I
can't. I won't honor it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch this team. They're fun. It's very reminiscent to 2004, so-called Idiots.
Sure.
This team's young and fun, and they dance. They do dances when they have, a double. When they have a home run, you see the hugs. It's just it's adorable.
Did the 04 and 07 Red Sox have to get through the Yankees?
Not 07.
No, not
04, yeah. 03, well, obviously we know what happened.
Came down from
3-0.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Johnny Damon,
Yeah.
he's a piece of crap.
He is.
So,
Still.
Yeah. And I love that Poppy came back at him and was like, how dare you? You know.
Wait, what happened?
Johnny Damon said, Yankees are my team, and I'm picking them.
Of course he did.
Right. And so
After
Poppy
he wrote a book saying that the Yankees could never pay him enough to go play, and then the very next year he goes and plays for him.
So Poppy came back at him on Twitter and was like, how dare you? That's BS.
I'm about to find that right now.
Yeah, you need to.
You're a baseball fan. Who do you want to
Oh,
win?
I am? No, I'm just kidding.
Your Cubs are out.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm that baseball fan because I love the game, and I'm married to a baseball player, and he's a Cubs fan. I really just like to watch. I mean, I have no rooting interest at this point. It makes zero difference to me who wins. I just like to watch playoff baseball. It's a lot of fun.
The good thing with these games is they're forever. They are the longest games. So I will.
Not so much for this girl who's trying to still acclimate to East Coast time zone.
Right.
I mean, the Central time zone is like the perfect little place to fit because it's not too early. You get home from work in time, and you don't have to stay up till midnight to watch. 1 hour throws everything into a tailspin.
I'm telling you, I'll feed Summer, and her and I will. Her and I will go to sleep around 7:30 around the start of the game, and I wake up. It's 11:30, and it's only the 7th inning. I'm like, yep, that's about right.
Anyway, so at least you're entertained. I don't miss that at all.
Goodness.
Well, at least you do get to have a team to cheer for still at this point in the postseason. Some people have lost their
They could
teams.
get it done
a lot
tonight.
of people around here, Braves fans, no longer Braves in the postseason. Same with the Cubs. So at least you still.
I know.
have
I feel bad
your
for Tony.
Red Sox. Yeah,
But the Braves fans should
but
be
they're
used
still.
to that.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah.
They kind of thought they were a year away. They were pretty happy. All right, when we come back, we're gonna get to the NFL and a little bit more baseball. As a matter of fact, you're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Catch Navy football.
All pro.
I can't find this
Did
tweet.
you find it? No.
All pro.
You got it, sir.
Maybe he deleted it? Honestly, fuck Johnny Damon for life.
Well, we've been talking about Hurricane Michael, and since we're expected to get some rain over the next few days, now is the time to contact my friends at All Pro Roofing and Consulting if your roof is in need of repair or if you need a whole new roof. Lauren Brooks here, and when it comes to hiring a roofer, you want one who won't require any upfront deposits and one who is not going to sub out their crew.
Look at him still trying to hang on to that hair.
Consulting is
Give
a
it up, bro.
family-owned company and a part of the Lloyd's family of businesses. You won't find a more solid company. They have over 25 years of experience. Find them online at allproroofingllc.com. That's allproroofingllc.com.
Yeah.
Alright.
That's some
Thank
bullshit,
you.
isn't it? Red Sox all the way.
God, I wish he would have went at him harder. What a douchebag. Like, honestly, if he would have stayed in Boston, he would probably have a statue dedicated to him.
Yeah. With the long hair. Then he goes and cuts it.
Now he has
You
this,
have
like, 40-year-old, I'm hanging on to hope mohawk.
Look at this. 2010, Johnny Damon claimed on waivers by the Sox. Oh, gosh.
What? Why?
No, like old, you know. 2010. Just so
Yeah,
funny.
so why would they do that?
Well, I mean, that's
Oh, that's after
yeah.
the Tigers.
So funny.
Johnny Damon joins Donald Trump at Florida rally. There it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Funny when when you
What?
Googled Ortiz rips Johnny Damon, that's the funny things that pop up. Man.
I knew he was a for real idiot.
This is on at 8.
Okay, Alex is chiming in about this.
Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley and Kate.
What did
I
Alex-
agree,
what did-
Alex.
What did Alex
He said the
say?
royal family has a lot of privileges, but some of the stuff they have to do sucks, like Kate appearing with her family for press photos 6 hours after the baby arrived.
I know,
But he said, oh, hell no, you leave Kate alone. That's right.
like,
Her Royal Highness.
it had to have been a regular delivery. I mean, because she can't be up and walking
Right.
out
Oh, yeah, no, she probably...
with
yeah,
a
she-
C-section.
No, she had a... Yeah, but... Yeah. I mean, I know people who, like, I was thrilled to stay in the hospital because I think I told you it's like being waited
Yeah.
on. And somebody, I was not in a rush, but I had friends who, if they had let them go home the day of, they wanted to get out of the hospital. But they're, I think, legally obligated to keep you so many hours.
Right.
After having the baby, whether it's 12 or 20, whatever it happens to be. So I'm not surprised that she was able to get up and walk out. I mean, I walked up and down the hallway. I didn't feel like one sprinting because all my stuff was falling out on the floor. But you know, they tell her, hey, let's just get you dressed and let's fix your hair and carry the baby and walk from here to there. And
yeah, there's nothing a little makeup can't fix.
I thought Keira Knightley was the epitome of mom shaming.
I think, I mean, y'all tell me, but second kid is if both are vaginal deliveries, second kid is way easier.
It was for me.
Than first kid,
Also
first time around. This is her third one, so her stuff is like fine.
Yeah, she's got this probably down to a science now.
Yeah.
She probably has so much help stuff.
Big time, yeah. I mean,
like beauty-wise, health-wise.
Now, it's one thing for like people to, you know, roll out of the hospital and have to go home and have 3 kids by yourself because your husband, whatever. That's real strong. I mean, that's the type where it's like, damn.
I mean, the one thing I was impressed with though is like you're in heels and you're wearing your jewelry. Like you didn't get swollen at all.
Her hands look a little swollen. If you zoom in.
Like I just now put this ring on, and you can tell it doesn't fit.
There's my hands from the time I was.
She probably has 7 different rings to wear.
Well, and there's some people who don't swell. I did.
Yeah.
My face swelled, my hands swelled, but I know some people who, I mean, it's just case to case basis.
Right.
But
for Keira Knightley to
judge,
call herself a feminist and then go and
mom shame somebody else and then write
fuck
this letter to a 3-year-old. Get out of here.
Yeah, right.
That's silly. You're playing. You're playing.
And why
the
release
seed
that
for
letter?
Your daughter. Yeah,
but in each pregnancy is different.
Well,
like both of yours were different. Both of mine were different. So.
But I didn't judge friends who said, I'm not having an epidural because I'm like, all right, cool, good for you. And I don't judge people who don't breastfeed or all they want to do is breastfeed. Or what? I mean, it's like to each his own. I'm not going to tell you my way is better than yours. And that's what she did there. She mom shamed her, and that's exactly what we're trying to fight.
30 seconds.
I know, I always felt whenever the nurses came in or whatever, because I wrapped these babies up like the next day to dry them up, and they're like, oh, what, are you breastfeeding? Nope.
Yeah, no, and that part,
no.
you talk about shaming, especially in the Catholic hospital, it's like,
you get
you're
shamed.
not going to breastfeed? I'm like,
you're not?
All right, here we go.
I wouldn't. No, I need sleep.
You're making
I wouldn't.
Personally. You lose sleep. That's why
the only reason it would ever be attractive is all the calories you burn.
And it's free.
Yeah, and
it is free. But no.
I was just thinking calories.
But it's not possible for a lot of people.
Right.
So the assumption that, you can just do it is also a misconception.
Right.
One segment to go here on Homes and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. We have been so excited that Donna Murphy was able to join us tonight.
What?
And you know what? I think Keira Knightley would be proud of you and would not shame you.
Who
for
cares
coming
what
back.
Keira Knightley thinks anymore?
She's I look
canceled.
Like.
Glad you said Alex from the UK has some insight into the situation.
He said on our YouTube live stream, he said the royal family has a lot of privileges, but some of the stuff they have to do sucks. Like Kate appearing with her family for press photos 6 hours after the baby arrived. But like we were talking about during the break, Kate obviously has access to a lot of different help as far as health and beauty and all those
Can't
supportive.
she say, I'm not taking a picture 6 hours after? I'm taking a picture.
Probably
if
not.
she didn't feel well enough, I'm not taking a picture until 26
well,
hours after?
if she doesn't feel well enough, that's a different story. But obviously in the photo, she looks great. And she's wearing a flowy dress, so it's not like she's out there, on full display. But this is her Royal Highness. She's giving birth to the British heir, to the British monarch. It's a big deal. People want to see the baby. It's not necessarily about Kate, to be honest. It's about people wanting to see the baby. And from a paparazzi standpoint, the sooner you get the pictures over with, the less amount of time you're stalked by the paparazzi.
This has nothing to do with that. I just have to say that I just got very excited because I saw a new photo of Tom Cruise for Top Gun Maverick.
He's an alien.
And I'm so excited.
They're bringing back a Top
He's 56 years old.
Top Gun.
Yeah, they're doing, 2, but they're calling it Maverick.
32 years later is what the article
Look
says.
at him. He looks exactly the same.
He's an alien.
Yes.
He's 56.
That's
he is
crazy.
the Scientologist, so that could make him an alien.
I'm
Also
so
true.
excited. Who's gonna be there when that movie opens? That will be me.
No, I
me,
might watch
not
that
walking
one
out of the theater.
home.
No.
But I would never see that in the
Oh.
movie either. All right, the NFL is a crazy league. So many different scenarios each week. You look at the games and you think you can predict them, and then you watch them or you find out the results later and you go, oh, I was wrong. Well, for me, that game happened between the Broncos and the Jets on Sunday. I could not believe the team that we watched play so poorly against the Jaguars. Jaguars had several turnovers, yet the Jets never threatened. The Jaguars manhandled that team, and rookie quarterback Sam Darnold. I never thought the Jets would be able to beat the Broncos. Yes, it was a little bit of a short week for the Broncos because they played Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. Yes, they were going across country. I understand all those things. But the Broncos, I still thought, had a much better defense than the Jets and a much better quarterback in Case Keenum than the Jets, especially with the inexperience because of Sam Darnold's youth. Yet, the Jets won 34-16. That was the craziest outcome for me on Sunday or this past weekend in the NFL.
At some point, people got to start questioning John Elway and his GM capabilities because that team hasn't been anything since that one Super Bowl run with the banged up Peyton Manning.
Yeah, with a good defense.
Right. And they put all their money in the defense.
Well, and they can't
And
find a
Case
quarterback.
Keenum,
That's the thing. I mean, John Elway.
Osweiler.
I mean, I guess just because you did doesn't mean you can.
He's missed on every single quarterback pick since he's been there.
I don't get it.
All right, what was the craziest outcome for you, Lauren Rue?
I don't know if it was the craziest outcome because the Giants really aren't very good, but I'll say the way this game ended was the craziest. The fact that a 63-yarder. I mean, there's guys right now who can't kick a 28-yarder to save their lives or their jobs or their
Mason
teams
Crosby.
Yeah, rough, horrible. That's also crazy. But Graham Gano for the Panthers, as we all know at this point, a 63-yarder with a second to go. Ice water in the veins and put him up. And
I actually
walked out
read
of there
that
like a champ.
Gano in high school made a 71-yarder, but it was called back because of a penalty. Can you imagine as a high school
That's
kicker
insane.
how mad you'd be? And I'm just going to guess it was an offensive lineman.
Seems like
So good
Janikowski
with
would
a
do that.
Janikowski certainly has a big leg, but
Yeah.
it is the second longest field goal in the NFL. The longest is held by Matt Prater for the Broncos in 2013.
Look,
Still very long.
By the way, the NFL on Fox, I don't know what deal the NFL, the league has with Fox, but
Fox paid a lot of money for
it's crap. You're watching that game, and then, all of a sudden they come on, sorry, due to league rules, we now have
Can't
to
show
switch and go to the next
That was
game.
CBS, I thought. It wasn't
No,
Fox.
it's
but
Fox.
CBS couldn't show.
Okay, I knew CBS was
so
on
the Browns game outside of here went into overtime, and it was
against
like
the Ravens.
What? Why can't you? The Jaguars game was over.
Right.
Why can't you flip to that? And I'm like screaming at the TV.
But they
I was like,
switched
they
to
couldn't do that. I'm
something
like,
else.
No, they said we watched the studio analysts watch the end of the game, and they would give us the play-by-play, which they're not supposed to do. And then soon after the play would happen, then they would show it to us because they technically weren't showing it to us live.
Live action, yeah.
Boo. Well, that was my pick for craziest game of the week is the Ravens versus the Browns. I'm rooting for the Browns. I hope that they get at least a 500 record this season. But Baltimore laying an egg against them. Hopefully this was a really fluky week for a lot of teams in the NFL. And I hopefully with Baltimore too, because I really like Baltimore and they're playing against the Titans this weekend. So I'm rooting for them again this week. But Hugh Jackson, coach for the Browns, throwing up that 2 at the end.
He didn't
when
even
his team
know the rules.
wins.
He forgot what the rules were.
Right.
Because they scored. They were, they didn't have to give Baltimore the other opportunity. He's like, wait, there's 2 seconds left. I think he was just, when you don't win for so long and finally you
It's
get
like you're the
another
coach.
one.
You're supposed to know those pivotal, sort of game time situations. That's your job. And that was a little bit of a crazy ending. And then the Titans losing to the
I was
Bills.
going to say, that's the one I thought you'd pick, but because of your hatred of the Titans, you may thought...
It made the weekend a little bit better that they lost to the Bills. Did
it? I mean, though, from the aspect of the Jags losing to the Titans, and then they're like, they lose to the Bills. I know for the sake of the standings and stuff.
Yeah, that
and they
really
still
selfishly.
head-to-head. But you're thinking to yourself, this is the team the Jags lost to, who just got beat by the
No,
Bills.
because I don't really think like that. And I know a lot of people do, because especially with the Jets' performance over the past weekend, it's like, oh, well, this Jaguars team won. That's not really something to be, I guess, excited about. And it's like, well, I don't know. A win is a win. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Patriot fans look at this past Sunday's performance of Bortles and being like, where was that Bortles in week 2? He didn't show up in week 2.
Well, now the Patriots get the Chiefs, and that game got flexed to Sunday night.
It was Sunday night.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Chiefs Bengals.
Bengals got flexed. That's right. Okay.
I got that email today.
Because people wanted Jaguars Chiefs flexed, but they weren't going
thank
to.
God it wasn't.
Already set up for Sunday night.
I would have to say the Packers for me. When you look at the stats and I say one quarterback threw for over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns and another one threw for under 200 and only 2 touchdowns, you would think it would be reversed. Mm-hmm. With Aaron Rodgers throwing for that many yards and losing to the Lions, who at the beginning of the season looked like crap and everybody wanted Matt Patricia's head already, I'm surprised. I'm surprised at, I don't know if it's the lack of offense.
Division rival, too, I think plays a big factor.
I don't know. I feel bad for the Packers. I don't
feel bad for them.
I don't know
Aaron Rodgers. I don't feel bad for them at all.
And it's a cliche to say that's the NFL, but it really
is.
It's what makes it so incredibly difficult to predict. We thought the Jaguars were they were ranked a top 3 team a week ago. They really only fell to 5 in the ESPN Power Rankings. I thought they were going to tumble way more than that, between not just the loss, but the way they lost the football game to the Chiefs, and then all these injuries piling up. To me, it looks like this is more of a top 10 team, not a top 5 team, but that's other people's opinions. All right, this Sunday I will be at Whiskey Jack's hosting the official Jameson watch party. And
I'm excited for you.
Thanks. And the people that show up get to register for the Jameson Yeti cooler, which is a very fun cooler, as y'all have seen them around 1010XL. So I want to know, what's the best way to watch away games? I think, Lauren, you're going to say couch. And Donna Murphy, I think you're going to say couch.
Couch. Taking a nap at halftime. I would have to say not watching it with rival fans. That's the best way.
Yes.
Good answer. Live?
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with that, because I watched with a Jets fan, not this year, but last season, and I've never been so close to taking a beer bottle and smashing it over someone's head, because the Jets actually came back and beat the Jaguars in overtime during that game, so I was very, very unhappy, and he was very obnoxious. So since then, we have a rule at my brother's house, because he throws watch parties, that no away fans are allowed. However, I did not go to my brother's house last weekend, and of course I'm being blamed for this Kansas City Chiefs loss. But I got a new couch last weekend, and I wanted to park myself on the new couch and watch a day of football and not have to go anywhere, not have to do anything, and not drink a bunch of Jag juice, and have the day wasted. And so yes, I got a lot of flack in my group chat about it. So I guess I'll have to go
all
back.
3 of you say couch or someone else's couch.
Yeah,
but no rival fans.
Because you don't know, when you go to a bar, like, I have to be very particular about that bar. I have to know that they're going to have the sound on, that they're going to have the game on, that they're going to have the TV, like, in proper viewing range. Like, I have to scope the place out, and I've watched a game there before to know that they will handle it properly. Because a lot of times when you go to a bar, it's like a social thing, and it's not a serious, we're going to watch the game thing.
See, and this will be a tough test for you, because obviously Dallas has a lot of fans,
but
so-called
I don't think
America's
fans,
team, whatever,
would show up to an official Jaguars watch party. I wouldn't think, because that wouldn't be as much fun for them if they think they're going to lose.
They're probably going to have an official Dallas club, like an official Dallas bar that they go to, I would think.
We can look to you, Lauren Rue. Have you scouted out any Cowboys watch party places?
We almost made it, Lauren Brooks. The whole show, they throw me under the bus. No, I told you I watched the games from my house with neutral eyeballs and a brain that is strictly objective. Because I'm a true professional, Lauren Brooks.
I will say, if it's not, as long as it's somewhere that's a comfortable environment with the sound on.
And booze. Yeah. Whatever it is. Has
I thought you said boobs for a minute.
Or booze, booze.
But I like to be able to hear the game, certainly, even though you know what's going on.
Well,
I still
I'm working.
like to know about
injuries. It's not for, like, I don't get to, like, oh, cool. I mean, it's like, I got to be able to know so I can talk about this the next day. So it's more of like an office setting. I got kids walking in front of me. The one rule is, hey, we have this giant couch, okay? You can stand anywhere you want. But why is it as soon as the game comes on, everybody has to walk right in front of me and stand in front of me and ask me questions when you have another capable adult and parent that you can ask the same question to? Please move! I say that like 8 times. And my daughter's like, "You're so mean," and I'm like, "That's fine. Just get out of the way and say it over there. I cannot see."
It's funny the rules you have to establish because my boyfriend's sort of new to sports, and when the game was on, we were watching it together on Sunday, and he's like, "Man, this Mahomes guy is really good," and he kept saying it over and over again. I was like, "If he says this one more time, I'm kicking him in the face." So I had to tell him later on in the night. I'm like, "You probably shouldn't do this in the future."
He is really good.
Yeah,
I know, but in the moment, I'm like,
I know, he is really good.
I only have a couple minutes to go, but one final thing I wanted to get to. Braves rookie Ronald Acuna Jr. broke a Mickey Mantle postseason record, and afterwards was asked about it, and he said, "I don't know who he is. I wasn't even born then." So it made me wonder, as a sports fan, so we'll use the Red Sox, we'll use the Patriots, we'll use Oklahoma State, we'll use Florida for me, we'll use Louisville for you. Jaguars, of course, have been around most of your life, but for the teams that predate your birth, are you, as a fan, supposed to really know those guys who were stars of your team or of your franchise before you were born, or do you get the crutch basically to say, "Well, I wasn't alive then. I don't know about him."
I want to say this has to be like maybe a heritage. Maybe that's why he didn't know. I mean, certainly you should know who Mickey Mantle
he don't play for the Yankees, not
was,
the Braves.
but still, as a fan, us fans want you to talk about the heroes. Yes, like I thought, how cool was it when Brady threw his 500th touchdown to Josh Gordon, and they bring up the stat that for Brady's first touchdown, Josh Gordon was 5 years old. I'm like, that's so sad, but how cool is that? It's so sad, but how cool. And but as a fan, yeah, I want to hear Kyrie Irving talk about Bill Russell. Like, I want to hear that. That to me warms my heart.
I try not to put parameters on what fans should and shouldn't do. Like, I don't know that I get to set the rules about, well, if you're going to be a fan of my team, you need to suffer and you need to know the history. I mean, like, who am I to say that? No. I mean, even for my alma mater. So, I mean, there's fans of certain university football programs that didn't even go to school there. So it's like they get, I mean, again, I just kind of give anybody, you want to be a fan, you go right ahead.
I bet he knows now. I bet he knows all about Mickey Mantle now. Mm-hmm. After he probably got hammered about it for not knowing who he is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I think the older I get, the more I'm exposed to the legends of whether it's Florida or even Jaguars players who started when I was.
But does it make you any less of a fan? I don't think that it does. I mean,
less of a fan, absolutely not.
Yeah. No, there's different hierarchies of fans. We talked about it.
Right, but I don't personally, like, I'm not the person, again, who's going to say, you need to know all the history before you can be a true fan of it.
Right. I will say this, though. It never made us happy that when the Red Sox players and Yankees players would like each other. I don't like that.
Yeah.
No. You're not allowed to like each other. No. You got to hate each other.
Makes sense to me. Well, we have, of course, loved Donna Murphy being back in the fold with us tonight. Thanks to our producer, JJ La Selva, for making it all happen. Of course, stay tuned for XL Primetime with Hacker and Andrew Gibson, because that's coming up next. For Donna Murphy, Lauren Rue, and Blythe Brumleve, I'm Lauren Brooks. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening.
I watched a special on Carly Ostrowski.
Yeah.
The other week, whatever. And they hated